Hi, the German chef is here. And if you want to know why it is so important not to give up, then you better stick around and listen to what I have to say today. Yeah, because I want to share a little story with you, and I think most of you will benefit from that story. I also will share a little bit more about my personal life, my personal experiences, and I think you really can learn something today because I share some great insights I have collected. And what I share today with you is truly based on my own personal experience. Yeah? It is not what I have read in some books. Even I read a lot of books. And this will be probably one of my next topics, guys. I will introduce some books to you. Books which I have read and which I recommend, because I find that reading is very important. I read a lot. Some of you might know that. And especially now here in Bali, I have a lot of time. So I read even more than before. But this is not the topic today. I want to share you a little story with you. Yesterday I called my mother. It was her birthday today. She turned 66 years old. And I called her to wish her a happy birthday. And the first thing basically she said to me on the phone was, "Oh son, do you have a job already?" Because she knows that I am on a job hunt, right? She's fully aware of everything because I am in touch with her. I talk to her. She is informed about everything. She knows that I'm in Bali now. She knows that I am without a job. And she also knows that I deliberately chose not to do a job right now because I explained it already in one of my other videos, because I want to have some free time now. I want to have me time now. It is very important to me. I'm not job hopping anymore in the sense of that I finish a job and then right the next day I'm going to the next job. No, I'm not doing this anymore. I set my priorities a little bit differently now. For me, it is more important now to spend also time with yourself and think about what things are to come, and not just blindly and stupidly to jump into the next job because you need to earn the money. Yeah, of course I need money too, and I'm fully aware of this. I need to earn money, and for the next 1 or 2 years I'm very realistic about it. I need to do this 9 to 5 job. Yes, I have to do this chef job, which I've done for the past 25 years and for the past almost 8-9 years in the role, in the capacity of an executive chef. And I'm fully aware that I have to do this probably a couple of more years, but I want to use this time to earn money, of course, but also I want to use that time to work on my business. What this business eventually will be, I will figure out now also during the time here in Bali. That's why I picked this time. You can also call it a small sabbatical. I'm taking some time out to explore myself and really find out what I want to do for the rest of my life. That's why I need this time out. And this is what I explained my mother. And yesterday, she picked up the phone and the first question was, "Hey, son, I cannot sleep because you don't have a job yet." I said, "Mom, we have to be patient now." And it is very difficult for her. You know how mothers are. And my mother is getting older like any mother, like any other mother. And elderly people, they are more sensitive. They worry more. And the same thing with my mother. She is just worrying. And I just tried to explain the situation to her and reminded her that it is, of course, not the first time that this is now the situation with me. I could certainly be very nervous now. I could be very anxious, and I could be worrying and even panicking, things like that. But from my own experience, I know you can do it, but it doesn't help you. I also know from my own experience how tough it can be to look for a job and not to find a job, I remember the times about 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago, when I was in Berlin in Germany in the beginning of 2016, when I was taking care of my health issues and everything, and I recovered and everything. And I started to look for a new job, and actually I wanted to work in foreign countries again. I wanted to work specifically in Southeast Asia again, because here Southeast Asia was the place I had the greatest times and the best experiences. So that was my goal, that was my motivation, and I tried very hard, and I applied literally. I still keep these sheets where I noted down my applications. That means for every single hotel I sent an application, I listed it down on a piece of paper, and I still keep these papers today. Why do I keep them? Because I want to save them for me as a reminder, but also maybe for other people. I don't know what is going to happen in the future, but that should serve as a reminder, as a motivational reminder, what is possible and how much effort I had to put into it to secure the next job. And I can share many more stories, not today. I probably will do this in the future. But today I want to share this story, how it was almost 3 years ago. And I was preparing everything accordingly. I edited my resume. I made up a new resume. I wrote a new resume. Everything. I was committing a lot of time to this, to make up a new resume, not making up in the meaning of inventing something. No, I renewed my resume. I brought it up to date and made it nice with the sentences and this, how I can put this and this nicely and things like that. So I made it really, really top notch, and then I applied, and then I sent out literally many dozens of applications to anywhere, Middle East, Southeast Asia, Asia, you name it. And I also sent applications out, of course, to Berlin hotels, the place where I worked at the time, where I lived at the time. And you know what happened? Nothing happened. I applied, nothing happened. And that was a little bit strange, because in former years I sometimes got a job very quickly, in a matter of 24 hours sometimes. It was crazy. And now, way back then, 3 years ago, I even had a much better resume. I said to myself, hey Marcel, you have such a great resume and this and that, and nothing is happening. And I really started to doubt myself. I really started to think that I have bad luck. Now today, looking back in hindsight, I can say that there is no such thing like bad luck. But at the time I really was thinking, and I start to lose my confidence. I start to lose faith. Really. I was how do you say this? I don't know the English word now, but I lost my confidence. And I was nervous, and I was anxious. I was running out of money quickly also, and I needed money, and I had no job, nothing, Yeah, so it was tough. It was emotionally very tough at the time. But one day I remember I sat down with myself, and I told myself, and I contemplated the actions I'm doing, and I went step by step, like, what am I doing really something wrong here? Because I don't achieve any results, right? My goal was to secure a job, but I didn't have any results. So I sat down and asked myself, so what do I have wrong? I have a great resume, probably the best resume ever. So that cannot be the case. I secured other jobs earlier with this similar kind of resume. So the resume is not the point, because I even updated it and fine-tuned it and tweaked it here and there. It's a very nice resume. So that cannot be the thing. So what else can it be? And I just came to the conclusion that I actually did everything correctly. I was doing everything right. There was no point to panic, even if it was difficult. You also have to consider that I am by nature a very impatient person. You know, when I look back, I just was very impatient, and I was very impatient. That was the problem. And then I said to myself, you do everything right. You have a great resume. You do apply, and you have applied for many hotels already. You know what you have to do, Marcel? You just have to be patient, and then the things will come. And that was the thing, actually. It's very hard to understand, and when you are impatient, you know, and you want to see results, and it is emotionally straining, right? But I talked to myself like that. That was personal self-talk. I had to calm myself down. There was no other choice. I had to do it, and it was the thing. Just keep doing what you do. Keep applying, keep it pushing, and then sooner or later there must become a result. And this is what eventually happened. A few weeks later, I secured a job in Berlin. Very nice employer. And then just 2 weeks into this job, I received a call from Saudi Arabia suddenly, out of the blue. And I was surprised that they called me. I said, who are you? Where are you from? We are from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia? I had no idea that I have applied in Saudi Arabia. I went back home. I checked my list. Remember, I told you I had a list with all my applications. I put everything down on paper. And yes, indeed, I found that Saudi Arabia thing on my list. And you know when I did apply there? In January 2016. And you know when they called me? In April 2016, 3 months after. I forgot about them already completely. And then I went to Saudi Arabia. 2 weeks into Saudi Arabia, so I left in May. Middle of May, something like that. End of May, I left to Saudi Arabia. The 2 weeks after Saudi Arabia, I got a call from my headhunter that there's something available in Indonesia, in Batam. And then I just thought, wow, jackpot, because now I'm very close to my goal to go back to Southeast Asia to work successfully as an executive chef. That was my ultimate goal. And I kiddingly said, actually, when I left Berlin and I traveled to Saudi Arabia, I kiddingly already said, you know, now I'm traveling from Germany to Saudi Arabia. It's already halfway through to Southeast Asia, because when you look at the map, it's almost half the distance. So as I said, you know, I'm not moving to Asia directly, but you know, we do it step by step. So from Germany to Saudi Arabia, and then from Saudi Arabia we move to Southeast Asia. This is what I kiddingly said before I moved to Saudi Arabia. See, I was already actually an optimistic person all the way. I always was, you know, but I had these situations, and then, you know the story, I took the job in Indonesia and Batam. And that everything went so fast, and so suddenly everything went so perfectly, you know. But in the beginning, it was so difficult, I can tell you. It was a very tough time, I can tell you. And a similar situation, I'm in a similar situation right now. But I can tell you also that I'm much calmer. I'm much more emotionally stable and mature. I know how to deal with it. Certainly, yes. I would be very pleased if I would know already now, if I would know where I go next. Or meaning to say, if I would have signed a new contract already, wherever it might be. That would be perfect. Because then I would stay until the end of December here in Bali. I would enjoy my time. I can continue my studying and everything. And then at the end of December, I travel to Germany. I visit my mother. I surprise her because she don't know what's she don't know that I want to surprise her for coming to visit her for Christmas. I don't want to mention it. I don't want to say to her, Mom, I'm planning to come for Christmas, and then I can't have to cancel it. I'm not going to do this. I only say it when I definitely know I can come. So, of course, that would be nice, but that is not the situation now. At the moment, I am in the application process. I send out, you can trust me, dozens and dozens of applications. That's the situation. But today I'm dealing a little bit more differently with the situation. And we have to be realistic here also. I'm not the only guy who is looking for a job, right? There are many other talented people. And the situation, especially in Southeast, but it's not only Southeast Asia. Even in the Middle East, I've sent so many applications. Nobody seems to be interested, or nobody has anything available. Even there are many job postings. I don't know what's going on. But I continue the same strategy like 3 years ago. I have a nice resume. I edited it. I made it up to date. It looks, in my opinion, much more attractive. I consolidated it. It is much more attractive now. And I apply. So I'm doing everything I can, basically, right? And I just keep going. And at the moment, I have 2 leads. I will not talk about this because there's nothing to talk about it. I only can tell you that I have 2 leads at the moment, 2 hotels. Is one hotel, the other one is a catering organization. So there are 2 employers who are interested in me, and that's the situation. This is what I told my mother yesterday also. So we have to be patient here. We have to. I cannot give you an answer by tomorrow. Even I told my mother, I know you know what you want to have an answer tomorrow. I cannot give you this answer. We have to be patient here. And I try to explain it to her the same way like I'm trying to explain it to you now. Because some of you have been in this situation, or if you have not been in this situation, you will be in this situation sooner or later. And then you have to be emotionally very stable, depending of what you want, Everybody is a little bit different. We all have different goals and different circumstances. You guys, some of you have family to take care of. I don't have family to take care of, but still I have bills to pay, right? I have things to pay for, and I want to earn money in order to put it on a side, in order to start with my business soon, So I have a plan, I have a goal, and I want to start rather sooner than later. And depending on what kind of personality you are, but I know some people who are living through this, who have been living through this experience like I was. I'm not the only one, and I know personally, I have some friends, and I know exactly that they can identify with what I have to say here, right? So I just want to share this with you, not to give up. That's why I said in the beginning of this video how important it is not to give up. You never ever can give up. Don't get this funny idea. It can be very stressful. If you are impatient, even more so. It can get very uncomfortable, but don't start to lose your confidence. Have a look first if you do everything correctly. Is your resume up to date? You want to have somebody look over your resume. Maybe you can get some tips and advice. Maybe you can design your resume a little bit differently. Check out your resume. See if you can do something there. And then make sure you take action. Means taking action means you have to apply, of course. Apply. Go online. Look for these job hunting sites. Look for Headhunter. If you need any advice on headhunters, or if you need any job seeking advice, I can give you this. Get in touch with me, and then I can share a little bit more, because I have been doing this for my entire life, to hunting for jobs and successfully securing jobs. That's what I'm doing. This is what everybody is doing. But I think here I can provide you with extra value, because I always manage to secure a very, very nice job for myself. But also, like you now you could listen to this. It didn't fall from the sky. I had to work very hard for it, number one, and I had to be very strong, mentally very strong, psychologically very strong. Because if you give up, that's it. What do you want to do? You want to give up? You know, when you give up, then you will not find a job for sure. That is what I can tell you. This is what I guarantee you. But the temptation to give up is sometimes can get very strong, right? Because you are impatient, you're frustrated, you don't see any results. This can lead to a great frustration. You want to just throw everything away. You want to throw in the towel and you just want to do something else. But I tell you, don't do that. You have to stick around. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. And this is what I'm doing right now also. I just keep going. What else you want to do anyway? You cannot magically make a job appear. There are certain rules to secure a job, you know. You just have to keep going. This is my message for you. Keep going, you know. Keep going. And now I just noticed something. This is not so good for the video format. I should have placed the camera like this, but I don't want to repeat the whole video again what I said, because I'm almost through for today. And let me check. Yeah, I'm almost through. So that is my message for you today. Never ever give up. Today I was specifically talking about this job hunting issue, because it is an issue most of us have. And I think some of us, or some of my subscribers, or most of my subscribers are in the hospitality industry, right? We are all working in the, or most of us, or some of you work in the restaurant or hotel business, so you know how it is. With the jobs, right? So we have to be very strong. We have to be very we have to do our job also, you know. We cannot just give up, even it is very uncomfortable and frustrating. Look at my story. I made it happen so many times. There are many other stories I will not share now, which I was in a situation I didn't understand the world anymore. I was completely devastated. There was a situation many years ago when I was fired from my job in Beijing. I was working in Beijing a long time ago. For about 6 weeks I was working. I got fired from my job. I had nothing. No job, no money, and the worst or the best, at the time I had a girlfriend in Beijing. I just met her. And then they tell you, Marcel, you're fired. And I had to leave the country. I had to go back to Germany, and I had nothing. And I was in a very frustrating situation. I came home with nothing. A girlfriend left behind, no savings basically, and I needed to find a new job. So tell me, how do you motivate yourself then? How do you motivate yourself? No, please. How do you motivate yourself? That's the good question, right? When you are in this kind of situation. Sorry, that was just the waitress was coming here. She wanted to interrupt my video, as it seems, but she didn't understand in the first place what I wanted from her. She didn't understand my body language. So that was one of the, I think, the most toughest situation I was ever in. So how do you motivate yourself, right? That's a good question. And that was very tough, I remember. I just kept going also. I just applied, and I applied again and again until I achieved my goal. Just to make a long story short, after this Beijing experience, actually things happened very rapidly. Just a few weeks later I signed a new contract, but I didn't know that beforehand, right? When I left Beijing and I was sitting in the plane to Germany, I remember clearly that moment when I just thought, how is everything going to work out? I had no clue. I had no idea. I didn't know how to do it, how to make things happen. I knew I wanted to go back to China. That's all what I was knowing at the time. That was my goal. It was almost a miracle that I secured that job in Hong Kong at the time, then in 2006. While I was in a very depressed. I was depressed, actually. You can say that. I was very depressed. It was a very, very serious situation. So for today, I'm not depressed at all. I know what I have to do because I know a lot about myself. I learned a lot about myself. I am stronger now. Certainly, like I said, it would be nice if I would have signed a contract already. Of course it would be nice. Nobody can tell me that you like to be in the gray zone or in the darkness, right? You want to have certainty, you want to have clarity. This is what we all need and want, right? Human beings, we need certainty, we need clarity. We want security and safety, right? This is the same what I want. I also only want certainty and I want clarity. Rather yesterday than tomorrow. But you also play a role. You also have your job to do, and you have to just keep going and not to give up. Even you feel very depressed and frustrated or whatever. Just keep going. Look at me and my story. I am the living proof that things always work out if you want it. And right now I'm in this situation again. So I'm not even talking out of a very comfortable, cushy situation where I have a stable job, earning a lot of money. No, I don't have a job right now, folks. I don't earn a lot of money now. But I'm very calm and I'm very confident that I will secure a job sooner or later because I know I do everything right. And what I mean with doing everything right is not only to write your applications, to send out your applications, and to check the online portals and the headhunting sites and make sure your resume is up to date. Not only that, what you also have to do right is that you get your psychology and your emotional state under control. That you do a lot of positive self-talk if it is necessary. Don't let yourself down. Of course, you can have these frustrating feelings, and you will have them, and they are absolutely normal. I'm not saying you should not have them. Have these feelings, they are normal. I certainly also have these feelings and emotions. Everybody has them. You know why? Because they are just human. We all have them. That's absolutely okay. What I'm saying, what I want to tell you is, don't let yourself go and let yourself drag down by these emotions and feelings. You have to be emotional intelligent here and emotional stable. Don't let your own ego fool you around and drag you down the tubes, that you get so depressed that you stop doing your things. Don't ever let that happen. This is my plea to you. Don't ever let that happen. Just keep going and be emotionally stable, strong, and intelligent. There are certain ways how to be that. I can share this in other videos if you want. But for the time being, just work on this, what I just told you here. Fix your resume, apply, continue to apply, check the job hunting sites, and keep going. If you keep going, then eventually jobs will come to you. Sometimes it takes long time, sometimes it takes more time, and then the next time, I guarantee you, it will be almost effortless, because this is how the universe works. So more effort you put in, so more you get back, and then maybe for the next job, you almost effortlessly will get something. It's not a guarantee, but this is what happened to me, So all actually eventually is balancing out, But you have a lot of responsibility. You have to move your ass. Nobody is coming to you and knocking on your door and saying, would you love to work for us? This is not happening now in my situation, certainly not in your situation. You are not number one that people knocking on your door and begging you to work for them. I think you are very far from this situation. So get realistic, guys and girls. Get your ass up and get going, all right? Wishing you a pleasant day. Bye-bye.